Hi guys, and welcome to the sixth and last video for Module 7. In this video we're going to build the game, this sort of slot machine game, using a picker to display the things on the slots. So this is sort of different from all the others we've done in that we're really just using a picker as sort of a user interface component rather than letting the user select things from it. And in fact, we're going to disable letting the user pick things and letting them move around the components on the picker, because otherwise they could rig the game. So let's get started. First of all, let's do our storyboard stuff. We've got to put a picker, which we're going to put up at the top this time. And we're going to have 5 components to this picker, but we'll set that in code. The only thing we need to set right here, right now, let's set its constraints. We're going to add a button, but this time the button, instead of selecting things, is going to spin the slot machine. So we'll call this button spin, and we will set its position to the thing above it, and we'll center it horizontally, and we'll do the same with this label. We'll set its position to the thing above and center horizontally. So we're going to add one more thing. We're going to add a label that specifies that that we have a winner in the game. So let me add that label to the bottom. And we're going to change the text in that label dynamically to indicate whether there's a winner, and we'll just blank it out when there's not a winner. And we'll set that up in view_did_load. So I'm actually not even going to blank. I'm going to I'll just put the widest text that's going to go there initially, and we'll pin that to the bottom. So those are our constraints. The other things we need to do while we're in here, we need to set a data source and a delegate for the picker. So we'll drag from the picker to the view controller icon up here. We'll set those to be data source and delegate. We're going to need the usual things. We'll need an outlet for the picker, not because we need to read its value, but, well, we will need to read its value actually, but also so we can change it when we spin the slot machine wheels. And we'll need, of course, an action method for the button. So let's get our assistant editor up for the custom class. And while we're here, let's go ahead and make it be the picker view delegate and picker view data source, just so we don't forget. And we'll put in, we're going to call the action method spin this time. And we'll call the outlet, we'll just call picker. Okay. We're also going to use sound in this application. So we're going to have to add some sounds to our project, and we also have to add another framework. Audio Toolbox is the framework we're going to use to handle playing sounds. Let's copy the sound files into our project. And there's a sound for spinning, which we call the crunch sound, and one for winning. Okay. And I think we've set up now the stuff we need to set up in the storyboard. And we've got a bunch of stuff to do, and it's sort of different kind of stuff in the view controller. But let's do the things that are sort of the most straightforward. Oh, we've already got the images we need. I should mention that while we're here as well. The cherry, the crown, the lemon, and so forth. We're going to use those things. So we grabbed them. We grabbed them a while ago, actually, when we were getting the icons for the 5 view controllers. So that's in here too. But let's go ahead and get started editing our view controller. We'll edit the custom view controller. We don't need the assistant editor anymore. So first of all, we've got an array of images that we're going to use for the pieces of the picker. We'll put those in here. And we've got variables for the sounds that we need in here as well. And I realized 2 things that we didn't, that I didn't set up in the storyboard. I'm going to need an outlet for the label so I can hide it, and I'm going to need an outlet for the button so I can hide it at times also. So let me go back to the storyboard and put those 2 things in just so I don't forget them. Get the assistant editor back up. And get the right view controller here and get the right class up. I want the custom picker view controller. And I need 2 more outlets. Then I need an outlet for the win label. So I'll control drag that to here, and we'll call that outlet win label. And let me make sure I'm consistent here. The other one is just button, but we need an outlet for it. Oops, let me undo that. Control drag over here. Okay, we've got our outlets now, so we're done with that. Let's go back to our custom view controller class. Okay. We'll put the code we want in view did load, which is going to initialize the roulette, the slot machine wheel. So we'll make an array of images, which we initialize from the images in the using the files in the assets directory. We'll set the text of the label to be a blank, so that hides the winner, and we'll call this arc4 random stir method to randomize what the initial display is. Okay, so we still have the spin function to implement. We'll do that last, actually. Let's get the data source and delegate methods next. These look a little different because they're displaying images rather than strings, but there's not a lot to them. There are 5 components in the picker now, but it's the same number of rows in each one, and it's just the size of that images array we initialized up here, so 6. And the delegate methods will just use the when you're given a specific row, you just pick the appropriate image from that row of the array. And we're going to make each one, there's one other method here we're implementing. The height of a component, we're going to make it a little taller. It's 64. Okay, so we've got our data source and delegate methods. We've got our array initialized. We need to handle spinning and winning. So when we spin, we're going to want to play the crunch sound, and if it wins, we're going to we'll do that as well. So let me grab a bunch of text here. There's the spin function, a function called show button that changes the hidden property of the spin button, and then some text that'll play the wind sound, and we're going to play that asynchronously. So there's sort of some stuff in here that harkens forward to scheduling issues in iOS, but for now, hopefully it'll make sense what it's doing. So let me copy that code in for the spin function. I'm going to have a spare close parentheses here if I'm not careful, so let me delete that. And we'll talk about what else is going on. Okay. So again, spin is what happens when the button's pressed. We'll set whether or not we have won to be false. And we're going to keep, you win when you have 3 in a row of the same thing as a result of the spins. So we're going to keep track of that with these 2 variables, and we'll use this loop to do the spinning and figure out whether or not we won. So we'll take a random number. If the new value was the same as the last value, that is, so we're going through the 5 components of the picker here with this loop, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go from 0 up to less than 5. And we're going to keep track of how many are the same in a row. And this piece displays the right image for each component, and if at any point the number in a row is greater than or equal, the number that we have in a row is greater than or equal to 3, then we'll set the win to be true. So these negative ones here are used as initial values because they can't possibly be equal to any component number of the picker. Okay, now we're going to play the sound. If the sound has not been loaded, we will load it. This is the code to load the sound, and then we'll play it. If we win, we will dispatch to happen a ½ second in the future so that the spinning has a chance to happen. We'll play the wind sound, and otherwise we'll show the button at that same time. So so that stuff only happens if, and we'll hide the button if in any event. So we hide the show button for ½ second, and we set the win label to be blank. Show button we have because we'll need to we need to be able to send that into the future either here or here. If we play the wind sound, then what's going to happen is we'll load the wind audio and play it. So this piece of code looks exactly like what we did for crunch. We'll set the win label to be winner, and we'll cause the button to come back a little bit later. So let's run all that. We'll go to our custom picker. Things look like they're supposed to look, so we'll spin, and hopefully you can hear the sound. Everything's changing. We're just going to keep spinning till hopefully we win. It may take a while. And you hear the sound. And you notice that the spin button goes away each time we spin for a little while. And the win button goes away. The win stays from the time we win to when we spin again. And I'll go till we have one more win and then stop. Okay, so you can see that you can use pickers in sort of a little bit less obvious way as well. Well, this has been a long chapter, but at this point you should be very familiar with using and configuring pickers of a lot of different sorts. Actually this finishes up the last module 7. So thanks very much.